Mesiti live at 5. Someone told me over the weekend that I've got to smile more. I'm looking like a bit of a cranky pants, but hey, look, it is a look of concern for me, guys, and I don't want you to be concerned. No, I've not lost my joy. No, I haven't. As one guy said, Pat, it seems like Anastasia Palaszczuk has taken over your mind, soul, body, and spirit. Move on. And to be honest with you, I do my live at 5. It's about 10, 20 minutes a day, and then my preparation. I can assure you, Palaszczuk has not overtaken my life, but I can assure you she's overtaken the lives of many other people right across the state. Today and this week, we're going to be interviewing some political leaders, some from different areas of politics. But I want to address something. A wise person once told me, when you've got nothing to hide, you hide nothing. Dr. Death, aka Jeanette Young, and Stephen Miles and Anastasia Palaszczuk have not been honest. They refuse to be honest. Just the other day, I was reading how the AFL, and according to Jeanette's words, that we let the AFL in and Tom Hanks in, which again, I've got nothing against the AFL and I've got nothing against Tom Hanks. Please understand this. Where my problem is the double standards. My problem is where healthy people are quarantined. And they said that basically they let them in because they bring in more money. They bring in money. Jeanette, Anastasia, Stephen Miles. Is that the only thing that brings money into our state? Businesses like mine bring in money into this state. My clients, when they're able to travel, bring in money into this state. Tourism brings in money into this state. And please don't tell me that you're doing it because you're trying to protect the elderly and you're trying to avoid deaths. If that's the case, why did you pass the most awful abortion laws in this country? Here's the thing. They won't come clean on numbers. The amount of deaths in this state of COVID, not with, of COVID, are minimal. I think there was 6. But yet 508 deaths of suicide. What about the numbers, guys? What about the numbers of unemployment? Why are they not revealing them? What about the amount of not only unemployment, but the cost to the state of the financial mismanagement? Now, of course, the only reason why they don't bring that up is because it doesn't get you elected. And right now, Anastasia, Stephen Miles, and Dr. Death, the 3 stooges as I call them, the only thing they've got to hang their hat on is this. Number 1, we saved the state. We saved your lives. No, you did not. You put our lives at risk. Because if you're interested in saving lives, let's talk about suicide. Let's talk about domestic violence. See, it's the rhetoric and the story they tell you. The fake news media jump on board. The Treasurer of the state has not revealed the true cost and the deficit of this state. It is astronomical. Why don't we see the real numbers of the AFL grand final? What it cost, who paid for it, and by the way, how much it's bringing in. You can only get 30,000. They normally get 100,000. You can't tell me he's going to run at a profit. Where is the cost of our education? The cost upon parents not being able to work with these lockdowns that we had? Where is the cost to businesses that many of them will never recover? Where is the cost for the amount of mental health issues we're having to deal with? Where are the numbers when it comes to domestic violence, to suicide, real deaths? We don't hear of them. You see, if you've got nothing to hide, you hide nothing. Disclosure seems to be a thing that Anastasia Palaszczuk and her, well, I would call them her left and right arm, don't want you to know. You see, they think we're dumb. They think we can't think past something. Anastasia thinks in a game of football will turn the election. I hope the good people of Queensland are smarter than that. For those of you out there that are rah-rahing on the AFL, let me tell you something. There's more to life than just sport. Now, I know that we're big over here on state of origin and everything else, but when did sport become more important than financial survival? When did sport become more important than mental health? When did money and sport become more important than family and connection? When did we shift our values? I'll tell you when we shifted them. When Anastasia Palaszczuk, Stephen Miles and the Labor Party have done what the Labor Party and the left is doing, not only in this country, but all over the world. They play smokescreen. They play blame game. They blame victims. They play, I will not admit I'm wrong. They hide. Of course, spending $500,000 on polling and polls, 60,000 on alcohol. I wonder what the real costs really were. I'm asking you today, the good people of Queensland, the right to lobby, to knock on doors and to turn up and help some of the people in the various other parties. They need manpower. This woman has changed electoral boundaries, electoral voting, the whole lot. It is so underhanded. Now, I've never been one to rant and rave on political issues, but I feel, as I said to someone on the weekend, I'm fighting for the rights that we have been given. It seems to me that Dan Andrews, Premier of Western Australia, and the Labor leaders up here all sing from the same songbook. And they hate it when Scott Morrison says that New South Wales is leading the way. They see that as a political stunt, that Scotty's just supporting the Liberal government of New South Wales. Let me say that Scott also gave his support, or Prime Minister Morrison, to Dan Andrews when he said, look, let's not criticise him too much. He's doing the best he can. You see, it's the spin, it's the rhetoric they're giving us. Ask them for real numbers. What's the real unemployment? What's the real suicide numbers? What's the real deaths of COVID, not with COVID? What's the real cost when it comes to the elderly? What's the real cost to our businesses? What's the real cost, the numbers by the day, the shutting down of an economy based on a little gripe that you've got with the New South Wales Premier? Anastasia, I thought you were bigger than that, but obviously you're not. I thought that those advising you would say, hey, you've opened a Canberra, what's wrong with New South Wales? This is a political agenda. It's political because they are hiding. It's political because they're not telling you the truth. My advice to us as Queenslanders and as a nation, let's fight for our rights. Let's fight for the truth. The truth shall set you free, a wise man once said. Sadly, lies do the opposite. This is Pat Mesiti. And remember, if you've got nothing to hide, you hide nothing.